There's a bite. Oh gosh, that's a big one. Holy smokes. Golly, I don't know what I got, but it's big, guys. Oh gosh, look at this right here, guys. Look at this fish. Look at this fish. Oh, I'm so excited. That is my first bite, getting to introduce to you guys a brand new bait. Oh my goodness, and it's the biggest one I've ever caught on this bait, guys. Come here, fish. Come here, come here, come here, please come here. Oh my goodness. God, it's a giant. It is an absolute giant. Look at that. And look what bait's in its mouth right there. I want to show you guys. Look at that, it just fell out. The brand new Agent E. Guys, I'm so excited to introduce it to you. That's what it catches right there, giants. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I love it. Guys, I want to teach you all about this bait because so many people look at this bait. Oh, I'm slobbering, I'm so excited. And they think about this bait being a swim bait. It's not, it's a jig. It's just like a jig. You guys stay tuned for this episode. We're gonna show you all about it. Catch a great big old fish like that. Thank you, girl. All right, golly, what a fish. Thank you, girl, let you go. There you go. All right, so when a lot of people think of this bait, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna like, oh man, that's a swim bait, great. No, it's not. It is meant to be fished just like a jig, say a football jig, a finesse jig, just a half-ounce casting jig. That's what this bait is designed for because of how it's built. The weight is all right here in the nose. So when that goes out and it hits the bottom just like that right there. And it looks like what bass are feeding on, a bluegill, a shad, a crawdad, with the compactness of it, the action of that tail. It's just another tool to have in your arsenal anywhere you're throwing a jig. You know, it's got a really unique fiber weed guard that's very, very weedless. It's got a rattle in the front that acts as a couple different things. Obviously, yes, it adds noise to it. 2, when that's hitting rocks on the bottom, it makes more noise. And then 3, it protects that plastic. Because like I said, fish this like a jig. You're always dragging a jig, you know, dragging it on the bottom. That plastic rattle protects the plastic. It keeps all this plastic on the lead, gives it something to adhere to that the bait will last a lot longer for you. So there's some details on it. Let's fish it. So when I throw this bait out there, I obviously just let it go right to the bottom. And just like I would work a jig, I'm gonna pick it up and let it fall back to the bottom. Drag it, pick it up. You know, I'm just coming over rocks and logs right there. That's all I'm doing right there. I'm trying to keep that bait on the bottom. Keep my rod up high so I have lots of sensitivity. But you know, that bait's just digging on the bottom, then it picks up, then it's kind of digging on the bottom. I drag and lift is what I do with that bait right there. Every now and then I might just give it a little hop, you know, to make it kind of pop and then come right back down. But it's a bottom bait. Man, he was swimming right at me. That is one thing about that bait. Look at that. Look at how that, you can't even see it. When they eat it, it's like out of sight. It's just crazy to me. Throwing a new bait that a bass hadn't seen. Yes. You know, I've talked a lot about this bait being a jig and the different retrieves that you can give a jig. You know, you've got the drag method with the jig, you got a lift and a drop method. You know, probably for me on this bait, the lift and the drop method is probably one of my favorites because I utilize the action of that tail as it's dropping. You know, I can just lift that bait up and then let it drop. You know, I'm just lifting it and it's dropping, and that added tail action of it, you know, it's just like a bluegill or a crappie or a shad trying to get away. You know, right here today, I'm just throwing this thing basically on stumps and shell beds down the side of this river I've got right here, just concentrating on these outside bends. It's a bait that I'll throw, you know, on certain lakes, like maybe Table Rock, out on those gravel bars, you know, like where you would throw a football jig. It's a bait that I would throw like at Grand, you know, up underneath boat docks. You know, it's just a bait where you throw a jig. It's a bait that you're gonna throw in those situations to give those fish something different. We all know, like when a brand new bait comes out, something those bass haven't seen, you know, it's just we catch a lot of fish on it. You think back to when the Cinco first came out, it was like the hottest, latest craze ever, you know, the Alabama rig, the vibrating jig, all those things, when they first come out, they're very, very hot, you know, just because the fish hadn't seen them. You know, this is a different version of a jig that those bass have not seen very much of, and we all know how deadly having a new bait in the water can be. A question a person might ask is, why throw this over, say, a jig? You know, I'm comparing it to a jig. Because it's different. It's something that a bass has not seen. It's really compact. It has a really great action on the lift and the drop. It's just different. You know, when the vibrating jig first came out, when the Cinco first came out, when any of those brand new baits, Alabama rig, first came out, bass hadn't seen them. So it's new. It's not in their memory bank. Oh man, the last time I bit that, I got hooked. They haven't seen this bait yet. And that's, you know, a great reason to throw it, because it's a brand new bait. Bye. Oh, he's got it. I was like, man, I know I had a bite right there. Oh, that's a big one too. It's a big one too. Can't even see my bait, guys. Look at this. You can't even see my bait. That's what I love about this thing. Look at that. It's out of sight. Come here, you big old fat girl. Yes, yes, yes. Check this out. Check this out. That's what I was so worried about, because I felt the bite and then it just went away. Well, she had engulfed it so deep. God, I mean, look at that. Look how far down in there that is, guys. Tell me she didn't want that thing. It's in her crushers. And I set the hook immediately. Golly, come here, fish. Let me get that out of there. Oh, I got it. That's a big old fish when you can stick your whole hand in her mouth. Yes, what a fish. What a fish, look at that thing. That is a monster. All right, thank you, girl. Yes. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. This is a bait you gotta have tied on. They flat engulf it. You know, I've made some really good improvements on what else was out there on the market. You know, one is that fiber weed guard right there. I'm fishing some really gnarly laydowns, some gnarly stumps. That thing right there is just perfect. When a bass eats it just like that right there, the fiber just lays over. It's just, I just think it's very unique. Nothing else out there on the market like that weed guard right there. Oh yes, I love it. You know, so today I'm throwing the 1 ounce version. There's 4 different versions. You know, and for me, there's no wrong time to throw a jig, just like there's no wrong time that you throw this bait, because it's a great imitator of a jig, you know, imitating that bluegill or that crawdad that we're all trying to imitate out there when we throw a jig. I'm using black and blue. I've got really dark water here. Just an all-time great color, you know, one of the greatest colors in the history of all fishing. You know, but some of the colors that I'm really excited about is like that bluegill color. That's just a great color for that clear water, you know. I'm super excited about that goby color for when I go up north. It's a great goby imitation. And then that brown crawdad, that's a great color also. Chartreuse shad, another great color when I'm out fishing structure in June. There's some good colors to fit all the situations that I'm gonna encounter, you know, in my fishing. Hey guys, in a nutshell, that's the Agent E, you know, just a very versatile bait, you know, a very unique bait, different than anything else on the market with the weed guard and the rattle. You know, just the colors of it are very, very unique, very, you know, really close to my heart because I designed all these things. I hope you can get your hands on some of these things. It's a very versatile bait. Anywhere you can throw a jig, you can throw this thing right here. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you next week.